All right, so you know how it is sometimes, right? You're trying to keep up with everything going on, all the
Absolutely.
important stuff you know. But it's like drinking from a fire hose sometimes with all the news and everything.
Yeah, you're totally overwhelmed. Too much information out there for sure.
It's tough to sort through it all, right?
Hmm.
So that's why we're doing these deep dives, trying to cut through all that
Get
noise.
to the bottom of
And
things.
today we're zeroing in on something pretty big deal in the world of healthcare, and specifically prescription drug prices.
Yeah, and this one maybe didn't get as much attention as it deserved.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. The way a key policy got reversed, you'd think there would be more people up in arms about it.
That's what we're looking at, right? This back and forth on drug prices.
Exactly. We're talking about a situation where a Biden executive order was completely wiped out by, Trump.
Trump, right. And that order from Biden, from what I understand, was supposed to help bring down prescription drug costs.
Yeah. That was a major initiative of his, aimed at making medications more affordable for everyday Americans.
So Trump comes in and basically says, nope, not doing that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get into the specifics of it, but the way it happened was pretty striking.
Okay, so you sent me this YouTube video to get us started here.
Yeah, do you have a chance to watch it? It's from this channel called The Ring of Fire.
I did. Where's the outrage over Trump raising prescription drug prices?
That's the one. So they lay out the whole situation and ask that question, where is the outrage?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to be diving into today.
Makes sense. So first things first, let's break down exactly what Trump actually did. What was in this executive order of his?
Okay, so the thing that jumps out right away is just how fast it happened. The video points this out, like immediately. Trump gets sworn in, boom, one day later, executive order gone.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that. So to get this, got to remember what an executive order even is. It's basically a direct order from the president. It has the force of law, but only within the executive branch, right?
Okay, so he can't just make any law he wants with these things.
No, no. It's more about directing how the government agencies under his control, how they carry things out.
So in this case, Biden's executive order, it was about directing those agencies to work on lowering drug prices.
Yeah, exactly. That was the goal. And they were working on ways to make that happen.
And then Trump comes in and reverses it, undoing all that work, just like that.
Well, not immediately undoing the work, but stopping it in its tracks.
Yeah.
Blocking it from going forward. And yeah, very abruptly.
I see. Okay, so
All
like
right.
in practical terms, what does this even mean for people? What's going to hit their wallets?
That's where it gets real, right? The video, it gives some examples that, honestly, they're kind of scary. They talk about how some drugs, especially the ones Biden's order was focused on, could see their prices shoot way up.
Like how much are we talking?
They gave a specific example. Imagine a drug, it costs like $2. After this order, it might jump to $100.
$100? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the kind of difference we could be talking about here.
Wow, that's a lot of money for people who need these medications regularly.
Huge burden. And it gets even worse. They brought up insulin, and that one really hits home for a lot of folks.
Insulin for diabetes.
Right. Absolutely crucial for people with diabetes. And Biden, his administration, they'd capped the price for a lot of people at $15.
$15. That's amazing.
It was a big win. But this new order, it could wipe that cap out. And the price, it could go back to where it was before, like $500.
$500 for insulin. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not just a price hike. That's life or death for some people. They literally might not be able to afford their medication.
So back to that question from the video. Where's the outrage? I mean, this is serious stuff. Why aren't more people upset?
Right. That's what's so fascinating about this. And the video, it offers an interesting take on this.
What do they say?
They think a big part of it might be something they call outrage fatigue. Basically, they're saying that with all the craziness going on all the time, people are just worn out.
You mean like all the news, all the political stuff?
Exactly. Every day, there's some new scandal, some new controversy, and at some point, it's like your brain just can't handle it anymore.
So we just tune it out.
Kinda, yeah. It's like we become numb to it. Even something as big as prescription drug prices getting jacked up, it just gets lost in the shuffle.
I get it. You're bombarded with so much, it all starts to feel the same after a while.
Exactly. You lose that sense of urgency. But the speaker in the video, they really emphasize how surprised they are about this one. Like, this should be a huge deal. People should be up in arms about it.
You'd think so. Okay, so the video, it's not just about why people aren't upset. They also take a pretty strong stance on Trump's motives here, right?
Oh, yeah. They don't hold back. They flat out say that this move is all about helping big pharma, the pharmaceutical industry. you know.
Like that they pressured him to do this?
Maybe not directly pressured, but that this serves their interests. And they point out how this goes against everything Trump said he'd do.
You're talking about drain the swamp.
That's exactly it. Remember that. He ran on this whole thing about getting rid of corruption, standing up for the little guy.
Right, right. So the video is saying he's not doing that here.
That's their argument. They're saying this move is classic swamp behavior, protecting big corporations, screwing over everyday people. They say the public got totally swindled.
Wow. They're basically saying he's a hypocrite, that he's doing the opposite of what he promised.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
And that leads to their critique of how the Democrats have been handling this.
Okay, so what's their take on the Democratic response?
They're not impressed. They say the Democrats were way too slow to react. And when they finally did, it wasn't strong enough.
They did have that press conference, right?
Yeah, but get this. It was 8 days after the order was signed. 8 days.
Seems like a long time to wait.
That's what they're saying. And on top of that, the focus of the press conference, it wasn't even mainly about this. It was about Trump pardoning those Capitol rioters.
Oh, right. That was a big deal, too.
Huge, of course. But the video's point is, why not address both? Why not come out swinging on the drug prices, too?
So they're saying the Democrats picked the wrong battle, or at least they didn't fight hard enough on this one.
Yeah, like their priorities were messed up. The speaker even asks this pointed question. Where's your press conference on the drug prices? Like, call one specifically for this. Make it a big deal.
So hold a separate press conference just to address the drug price issue.
Exactly. Make it clear to everyone how bad this is. They think the Democrats should have been way more vocal, way more aggressive about this.
So it sounds like they're saying the Democrats messed up their messaging here.
Definitely. And it's not just the press conference. They also take issue with how the media covered this.
Oh, yeah, they mentioned that Rolling Stone article, right?
Yeah, they were not happy with that one. They even quoted the headline. It was something like, "Dim sound alarm on Trump's quiet bid to raise prescription prices."
Dim sound alarm. That doesn't sound very urgent.
Exactly. That's what they're getting at. And their main complaint, the article was basically just a bunch of tweets from different Democrats.
Like just embedding tweets in the article?
Yep. They named a few, Nancy Pelosi, Jared Golden, some others. But their point is, tweets aren't enough.
So the video thinks the Democrats are relying too much on social media.
That's part of it. But it's also a critique of the media. Like, just reposting tweets. That's not really journalism, is it?
You mean they're not doing enough digging, enough explaining?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The video says that a tweet, it might reach some people, but it's not going to grab the attention of the whole country. You need something more to get people really riled up about this.
So what do they think the Democrats should have done instead?
They say the Democrats should be out there giving big speeches, going on national TV, making sure everyone understands how bad this is. And the media, they should be doing in-depth reporting, explaining everything, showing the real-life impact on people.
Okay, so a more traditional media blitz. Get the message out there loud and clear.
Exactly. They're saying that if the Democrats and the media had done their jobs right, there would be way more outrage. Trump would be feeling the heat.
Okay, so in a nutshell, who does the video blame for this lack of outrage?
They put a lot of the blame on the Democrats. They say that by not getting out there and really hammering this message, they failed the American people.
So let's sum this whole thing up. This video, it paints a pretty bleak picture. Trump reversing this policy, drug prices potentially going through the roof, people maybe not even realizing how badly they're going to be affected. And they're laying the blame squarely at the feet of the Democrats for not doing enough to fight back.
That's a really good summary. They see this as a failure of leadership, a failure to communicate. And they're worried that unless something changes, things are only going to get worse.
It's a lot to think about. This whole situation really makes you question how things work, you know? Like, how does something this big, something that could affect so many people, how does it just slip under the radar?
It's crazy, right? You've got this huge policy change, potential for real hardship, but it's like crickets.
So what do you think? Is it all on the Democrats? Or is there more to it?
That's the million-dollar question. I mean, the video definitely makes some valid points. You can't deny that the messaging hasn't been great.
Yeah. But it also makes you wonder about us, right? The public. Like, are we just so overwhelmed that we can't even pay attention to stuff that really matters?
That's the scary part. Are we just tuning it all out?
Yeah.
And if we are, what does that mean for the future?
Definitely something to consider. All right, everyone, that's it for this deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground today, explored some pretty heavy stuff, but we hope this has given you some food for thought. This whole issue with drug prices, it's not going away.
No, not at all.
So we encourage you to stay informed, dig deeper, do your own research, and most importantly, make your voice heard.
Absolutely. Let your elected officials know what you think. Make a difference.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay informed.
And don't forget to take care of yourselves.
See you next time.
See ya.